Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. We're once again here at the Smokey and Bonte's location on the Avenue in Trinidad and Tobago. James, we have a lot of football going on. We have a lot of things going on here. James, tell us why the lovely folks should come on down.
Well, you should come on down to Smokey and Bunty's on the Avenue for a great time. Obviously, wonderful football as we're seeing every day here in the World Cup, and lots of offers. We have that wonderful trip for two to Tobago with our friends at Venture World Travel. We have obviously 6 packs of beer, shin guards from our friends at Armourflex. So we have so many things. So come down and join us for a wonderful time.
Yes. So we're going to head into the first game, but before we do that, folks, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. We'll be announcing some giveaways this week. Finally, we promise it's time to deliver. So we'll be telling you all about those prizes and the trips later on in the show as well. So we'll be doing that. Be sure, once again, a little tip. Go on our Instagram pages, go on the Smokey and Bonte's pages, go on the Extra Time TV page, and just comment, add, contribute. Those things help your chances, folks. So, James, we're going to head straight into the action. The first game, early morning game for those of you who are awake, Japan versus Costa Rica. And, of course, Costa Rica bounced back with a victory. So, James, let's hear your thoughts on this game.
I have to say I was very, very surprised with this game. Obviously, after watching Japan virtually, well, I won't say send Germany home because obviously we'll talk about their game a little later, but they surprised us in that game, and then this game they were very much dormant, and Costa Rica came up big with that goal from Fuller, who had an excellent game, but there was too many of the Japanese players didn't show up today. I think Duan, Soma, Endo, they did not come to the table today. They did not give much, and as I say, their coach and their fans will be very, very disappointed in this performance.
Yes, and obviously Japan would have wanted to probably secure qualification after that positive response. So just continues the theme that's been happening in this entire World Cup, where nothing is going according to script, and we'll see that with the other games as we go along. In terms of statistics, we'll touch on it quickly. Japan had 57, Costa Rica had 43. What do you think, James, was the drastic change within the last game and this game for Costa Rica? I always thought they were a quality team, but they were pretty horrible in the first game.
Well, I think the fact, obviously, that they had that terrible result, it was a 7-0 defeat in that game, and they were virtually going home if they didn't get something out of this game. So that obviously comes up big. The fact that the players want to show a little pride, a little national pride for their countries, but also the fact is that they don't want to bow out of a tournament without showing what they can do. And I think a lot of the players did. As I say, I thought Fuller was fantastic. I thought Campbell had a decent game up top. The goalkeeper, obviously, we know him very well there. Navas had a better game. I think in the game against Spain, his positioning was off. I mean, he didn't have help from his team, but this time he had 3 or 4 good saves. He obviously bred confidence out to his team. So from that point of view, from the back to the front, obviously the players were then able to drive forward, and they got the result. And as I say, kudos to them. It surprised me, but and they have one more game to go, so they have everything to play for.
Yes, and formations wise, obviously Costa Rica played a 3-4-2-1. And it's very attacking formation. A lot of people seem to be favoring the 3 at the back. There's different variations. Obviously, it could be switch to 5 at the back. It could be ultra attacking, and also Japan, they had their 4-2-3-1 as well. So overall, what do you think about the formations and the tactical approaches of both teams?
Well, the beauty of both formations, I mean, the 3-4-2-1, when you have a back 3, it can also become a 5 when obviously you're under heavy pressure.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And then when obviously you're going forward, you can release those players to go forward. So, I mean, yes, it's a system, but the system allows flexibility in the attacking phase and the defensive phase. And then obviously the 4-2-3-1, which is one of my favourite formations, allows you to get players forward, but also have that little bit of dependency at the back to make sure you're covered. So yeah. I think, the game has changed and systems have changed a lot. It used to be people used the 4-4-2, a lot. They used to play with wingers, but the way systems are able to be manipulated to allow an attacking phase, a defensive phase, and then a lot in transition as well. So yes. It's wonderful that the coaches are able to make these changes, and we've seen from the bench they're able to then bring players into the system without changing the actual system itself.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the group tables in a little while, but obviously both coaches obviously will have a complicated situation heading into the last game, and we'll definitely talk about that when we summarize the group tables as we move along. So obviously, before we head forward with that, James, the World Cup has had a lot of upsets, folks. And I want you all to comment in the comment section below which was the team that really shocked you all the most by their performances. You know, we saw what happened with Argentina, we saw what happened with Germany, we're seeing what's happening with England and all these other teams. There's no longer any clear favorites. It's very interesting. But let's head into the next game. The next game will be Belgium, which is a shocker, folks. That game was, to me, the 2-0 loss to Morocco had me shocked. Like, I kind of stepped away from the television for a little while, and I genuinely was shocked. 2 goals in the 73rd minute and in the pretty much extra time, the 92nd minute. James, what do you think about the golden generation of Belgium? Has the sun set on this generation?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say they've set yet because obviously they have another game to go. But this shocked me dramatically. I mean, when I turned on my TV and I was watching this one, you know, there's so much quality in the Belgian team. Obviously, Hazard, Onana, Witsel, Courtois, but the fact that Morocco were able to come big, I mean, we know that generally the African countries have that flair, have that pace, and I think obviously they have Ziyech, we talked about Hakimi, you know, they have so much talent that supports them as well, but they are obviously the main stars in the team.
Correct.
And they came up big as well. So, I mean, in a sense, it surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me when you've got those kind of names around them, you know?
Right.
The one big, obviously, surprise was the change of the goalkeeper, Munir, who came in.
Yeah.
Because we know Bono played the first game.
Right.
We made the joke about it. There was supposedly an injury to his eye. I don't know if it was in the warm-up, if it was
Not
in
that
training.
Bono, folks. Yeah.
Well, we don't know, but so there was some issue, and so much so that they had to change it as the teams were lining up.
Right.
So, in any team that would make a huge, you know, it would devastate them, you know. But this goalkeeper came in and he had an absolutely exceptional game.
Correct.
So kudos to him, and obviously his team they got 2 wonderful goals, Sias and Abouklal, who scored the goal. But you've got to give a lot of credit to their coach Walid Regragui, who obviously came up big tactically. He got the result, and obviously now they can go forward and try and win that last game as well.
Yes, and it's just once again another example of nothing is going according to script. You know, this is a team that's ranked, I think they're second right now, if I'm not mistaken. They were number 1 for a long time. I have my issues with the FIFA rankings, but still, they're a very strong team. They've always promised a lot and never really delivered. You know, Roberto Martinez and his men, you know.
One of the things I would say in this game, obviously, Courtois to me did not have the best of games. I mean, we know how big a goalkeeper he is for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But he got a little warning earlier on in the game when Morocco scored the free kick. It was disallowed because of I can't remember who the player was, but his head just drifted offside.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a warning. But then he let in the same goal 10 minutes later, and obviously that gave Morocco the lead. So to me, you've got to learn from your mistakes in a sense, and he did not do that, and he paid obviously dramatically for it, and it was a wonderful goal. Don't take it away from the player, but we have to learn as players.
Yes.
So that obviously had a huge changing point in the game, a turning point, and obviously they got the second goal as well, which was magnificent too. So again, kudos to the coach, fantastic for Morocco, and we will see. I mean, the groups are shaping up so tightly.
Yep.
Every single group. I mean, we keep thinking that, you know, it's done and dusted, and then results. We saw it, as I say, a few minutes ago. We'll talk about that one, but it's fantastic, and that's what the World Cup's about.
Correct. And, you know, listen, you know, we'll continue to cover these games here at Smokey and Bonte's, but tactically, so now obviously, according to this, Belgium dominated possession, you know, 67% possession versus 33% for Morocco, yet another example of how you can dominate possession and so on. And, you know, Roberto Martinez has been trying with this team for a while now. The last World Cup, you know, they eliminated England and eventually they fell. But they, you know, what do you think is happening? Do you think that this World Cup, and we'll talk about this later on before we move on to the formations and so on, that playing in essentially unusual time of the year, the season was still going on, has it affected the bigger teams?
I think it has, because I mean, usually when you have a World Cup, obviously in the summer, they get a longer preparation time, you know.
Right.
So they basically came from club football right into international football.
Yeah.
So even we spoke about it with some of our friends a few days ago at the bar. From a goalkeeping perspective, you know, they're going from training with a club to training with the national team, and it's not allowed them time to get used to, for example, the ball, which we see right here, you know. But from a player point of view as well, the club has a system, and then you're going to play your national team, and it's not a lot of time to learn that new system.
Correct.
And then also at their clubs, remember, generally at club football you have better players because you have the best players your club can afford.
Right.
In the national teams, maybe they don't have that luxury, some of them. So there's a lot of things that come into it, but at the end of the day, the players have to make do with it because they're there. Obviously it's a Winter World Cup, but I think to me, the football has still been fantastic. So it's not taken away from the football,
Yeah.
but it's just different. And that's what the players are just having to learn. But as the tournament goes on, it'll get better and better.
Yes, formations wise, obviously we have to talk about that. We love to talk about tactics. We wish, as we told Kevin yesterday, we will probably have a separate podcast just simply about tactics. But time restraints, folks, time restraints. So obviously Belgium played with a 4-2-3-1 formation and 4-3-3. So do you think that formation that was used by Roberto Martinez was not the right formation to get the best out of these players?
I think the way that Martinez picked his squad means that he has to go with these formations, and that's the problem because, I'll give you an example. He brought on Lukaku at the end. Lukaku's not fit.
Yeah.
So when you bring players into the squad that are not fit and you're kind of using them as bit part players rather than a standout player, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think he didn't have any option because of the players he had with his selection, and I think that's why he's had to revert to this formation.
Correct.
Or the system. So from that perspective, I don't think he had any other option.
Yeah.
So again, this is where it's very much key when you come into a tournament to have to cover for every position. And
Yeah.
the fact is you have to have a backup system as well. And to me, the fact that Belgium's not been able to change and even change personnel says a lot about the players coming through, but again about the coach as well. So this may be his last chance. If he doesn't, things don't go well, Martinez will probably bow out, as will some of the other coaches too. So. We will be judged on what happens, and
Correct.
And that's it. That's football,
Yes. And for the Trinidad and Tobago fans, I'm going to throw a random question out there, throw it out there. There's a Trinidadian player who worked closely with Roberto Martinez. I'm not going to tell you. I know who it is. James knows who it is. He's a tall person. That's the only clue I'll tell you. And you can put some comments in the comment section, answers in the comment section below. We'll pick a random one. Maybe you'll get a FIFA 23. You'll get a hamper. We've got a lot of prizes, folks. A lot of prizes. So we'll speak about the group stuff. But James, anything else you'd like to add?
No, it was an excellent game, like I say. I enjoyed it very much, and I think people like the underdogs winning. And it's no disrespect to the big guns. It makes it a brighter tournament. It gives you something for, especially for these countries, especially in an African country.
Yeah.
To be able to push the team that's second in the world is fantastic, and it gives their fans something to hope for, and it opens up the tournament. So, even from a Belgian perspective, they may have lost the game, but they still could potentially go on and win it. So it's what you do after this that matters, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yes. So, folks, we'll speak about the groups in a while. We'll do that at the end. So, let us know what you think in the comment section. Come on down to Smokey and Bunties. Speak and also be safe. And speaking about being safe, folks, we obviously are recovering from a pandemic. We need to be safe. And the lovely folks at Biotech have supplied us with their wonderful, hand sanitizer and their sanitization, product. So let's hear a little bit from them. All right, so we're back and we're going to speak about the football. But before we start, we're going to mention that trip once again that we keep talking about. Obviously, they provided us with a lovely thing from Venture Travels. James, I love how we explain it. Please tell the people.
Well, so for two lucky guests that come down here to Smoky and Bunties and visit us, especially for the final on the 18th of December, we have a trip for 2 Tobago flights with Venture World Travel. But as I say, you have to come down, especially to that final. Let us see you. There'll be a draw box. We will get a chance to pick out 2 lucky winners. And as I say, it's not just that. There's that obviously one from Venture World Travel. There's also Armourflex shin guards, which we have. So if you're a footballer and you need a good pair of shin guards, come down. And we also have a promotion we will have later on as we get closer to the finals. We'll put that up on our screens. And then we have 6-packs. We have things from Angostura. We have so many things. I want them. As I say, we always say you want them.
Yep.
The fans at Smoky Bunties want them. So come down and get a chance to win those.
Yes. And James came up with a lovely idea. The best dressed person, with their uniform, support your country, represent your team. Come on down.
And that's what we're both doing today. I look like a monk and Andre looks like a sheep farmer. So
Yes. Well, and which country do the sheep farmers come from? Another random question. Who knows, folks? So let's head into the third game of the day. Croatia, put Canada back down to earth with a 4-1 victory. Canada scored first with a beautiful, I think it kind of shell-shocked everybody. But eventually, the game turned around. Croatia do what they always do, because they did it in the last World Cup, folks, and they came back and stormed back to a 4-1 victory. James, let's hear your initial thoughts on this game.
Well, this was a wonderful game. We saw the flair and the passion and the drive Canada brought against Belgium. and they brought it at the initial stages of this game, and obviously Alphonso Davies got the fastest goal of the tournament, but I won't tell you how quick it was. Again, another question for you all, pop it in the comments. How quick was the fastest goal of the tournament? Scored obviously, as I say, by Alphonso Davies. So Canada got the upper hand. I mean, I think their coach has developed a system here that presses teams in. They go for the jugular early on, they did, but they just seemed to ease off, and they allowed a team that you can't allow a Croatian team back into the game. And I thought Modric was absolutely fantastic. Obviously they were able to get, it ended up being a 4-1, which sounds like a thrashing, but for 20 minutes of the game, as I say, Canada were the better team, and then Croatia just showed up. But it was a fantastic game to watch, end-to-end stuff. Obviously Croatia took their goals fantastically, and at the end of the day, they'll be the happy ones.
Yes, and we'll speak about possession-wise, 48 versus 52, so it's pretty close. But this raises a question I have, James, in footballing philosophy. So Canada plays that pressing football. We see a lot of teams are trying this now. It's a system favored by players. Like Argentinians will know this Bielsa, that Bielsa style pressing. We saw it with Saudi Arabia and so on. Canada scorched through qualifiers with that. Is this an example of a lot of people say when you press, these types of tactics are not sustainable. So sometimes fitness-wise, you run out of gas, and players that are usually very technically strong could slow the game down and eventually kind of poke you. Do you think that's what happened today?
Well, the problem with pressing teams is when you press, the whole team has to work together. So, for example, when your forward players goes up, your defensive team has to squeeze. And it's okay initially in games. So we saw it, for example, with Mexico against Argentina yesterday. They press in. When they have the midfield three, obviously closing down space, it works fine. But when the defence don't squeeze up and they start to allow gaps, that's when the opposition then can counter. And this is exactly what happened. Modric, Perisic, Liva, Kramit, they pressed the team and they just were able to peg them back eventually, and they got the goals. And again, it came down, I wouldn't say tiredness, but I think obviously Canada has some heavier legs in the sense that they have Atiba Hutchinson, who's an older player. They maybe just didn't boss the midfield, and the fact that they had to make substitutions like bring on young Coney in the second half shows that maybe that kind of system would be fine if you have players that can last the 90 minutes, and that's something you have to remember. So from a coaching side of things, maybe the system worked going forward, but defensively it didn't,
Yeah.
So it's something that the coach will have to look at. He has one more game in a sense, to get it, not to get it right, because I think obviously Canada are basically going home now, but to at least show some pride again for the country.
Yes, and obviously, I had a discussion with a couple people beforehand. When you have a midfield of Luka Modric, Marcelo Brozovic, and Kovacic, two ex-Inter Milan players, folks, had to throw that in there. That's the fourth time I had an Inter plug. But anyway, those are quality players. There's an Asian backline, Lovren has been around, but the quality of that trio, and I was telling somebody, if Canada is not able to control and press those three guys, and they're allowed freedom, they will hurt you. Plus you have Perisic bombing down that left side. He's a quality player. He can play all along the left wing. To me, it was no surprise that when Canada lost the game, when they were able to not control those guys, because even when they conceded the goal, Canada had a little spell, as you said, but eventually those guys were allowed to grow into the game. And I was literally shouting at the TV, as a CONCACAF guy, you have to shut those guys down. So to me, it shows a lot of character from Croatia. They did it the last time around. While they may not have the most well-balanced team from the midfield go forward, I think they look really strong. And do you think that with that sort of trio in there, that they could go really far in this tournament?
Well, I think it's a building thing for them. I mean, and I've seen it in previous tournaments. They start off a little slow, and again, players at that kind of age, they're going to, like, for example, Modric is an older player.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, there was times in the game that the burst of speed that they had in short periods was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I think they can go from strength to strength. I'll be honest, I don't think they can make it all the way to the final like they did before.
Yeah.
But I think they will definitely push, maybe come out the group and then, challenge one of the big boys in the round of 16. But it's a good team. I thought their goalkeeper was fantastic as well today. He had a good game. Again, organisation. You talked about Lovren. Lovren made 2 or 3 very, very important tackles. And again, all those little pieces of the jigsaw add up. It's no coincidence they're able to then get a 4-1 victory, because they're solid in midfield, solid at the back, the goalkeeper's organising them, and obviously they get the victory.
Yes. So, folks, let us know what you think in the comment section below. I love that Croatia midfield, and Perisic is a player I admire a lot. He's at Tottenham right now, I believe. So, we'll see how it goes. This tournament is crazy. So, James, like I said, we'll summarize the group stages at the end. So, we're going to head over to the next game, which is the big one. I think a lot of people and a lot of neutrals were talking about Germany took on Spain. Germany started off with that loss. They had to get a positive result today, very much like Argentina yesterday. And it looked like, I could tell you this, the fans here, there were people, their hearts were in their hands when Spain scored that first goal from Alvaro Morata. And then it seemed as if, James, only when that goal was scored, that's when Germany sort of came alive. Like, it's almost like the reality hit them in the face. Wait a minute, this is happening. And it's going to happen again. And for a country like Germany to potentially be out in the group stages, 2 World Cups in succession is insane. So eventually Germany equalized. James, what do you think about this game? This game was crazy.
Well, this game was a really interesting game. I mean, first thing I would say, I thought that the first 10 minutes, Spain pressed so high on Germany, and they looked like they were going to give them a run over. And then the game opened up a little bit, and then obviously Germany were allowed to play. But what I liked is, Germany obviously, I would say a little bit older because we know Spain are one of the youngest teams in the tournament, But that experience that Germany have eventually kind of dragged them through. But I mean, the Spanish team at times were absolutely phenomenal. They're able to pass the ball to death. We know this, And that 4-3-3 system that we know Spain plays so well.
Yeah.
The movement, the rotations in midfield, the organisation. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Simone, the goalkeeper there.
Right.
But he had maybe 3 or 4, even 5 top saves and probably kept it at the end to be the draw. I thought from a German perspective, Musiala was fantastic in that number 10 role. Musiala, and he drove forward, and to me he was the man of the match.
Yeah.
The combination, obviously the ball from Sané to him, and then through to Füllkrug.
Yeah.
Just making sure I say that right because it's a very awkward name,
Yes.
But it was as if at one point in the game, Hans Flick actually had to give his team a little flick there, and waking them up. And he made a lot of changes and it worked.
Yes.
And then down to the last few minutes of the game, it looked as if probably Germany might sneak it.
Yes.
But it was a great game for the fans. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think I'm glad that Germany still have a chance because to have them going home today may have meant that the last game would have meant nothing and it would have kind of had the group a little lopsided. So I'm glad they still have a chance. It's going to be very difficult for everybody in the group now, but I loved it. I loved it completely.
Yeah, it just makes the group very complicated, just to be a little dad joke in there, we were speaking about Flicks. Remember, folks, the last coach was known for, poking a certain area. It's pretty gross. I don't know what that was, but, Flick took over. A lot of people are saying that, he was essentially like his assistant. Is it more of the same for Germany? Is Germany really different? Have they really changed? Because they sacked Love and, he took over. So what do you think? Is this Germany having the same problems that, he had?
I think the only way this Germany team will completely transcend is by, sorry to say, moving a lot of players on.
Yeah.
Obviously they had Müller playing up top, and we know he's probably coming to the end of his cycle. I mean, I even have to say that I'm a huge Manuel Neuer fan. I was very disappointed in him today, and there was a few things I think I mentioned to you earlier on today that he wasn't taking a few of his kicks, so I don't know if there was a potential injury there. Now, to me, if there is an injury, you've got Ter Stegen there on the bench who could come in, so I found it strange, and I just found that there was a shot early on that he made it look okay, but I found he could have done better with it. They obviously gave Spain the corner with it, but I'm sure the fans would be looking on and saying it's not the Manuel Neuer we know. And there's all those things adding up, as I say, show that Germany need to change it, because I think the subs that came on, the younger substitutes,
right,
maybe we don't know them as well. Like I say, we talk about Füllkrug, who's playing for Werder Bremen. He scored quite a few goals there. They brought on some of the younger players. Maybe they're the future for German football. We talk about Moukoko, who's a young guy. He didn't come on in this game, but that's probably the future. They've got guys like Sané, they're still within age range, but your Müllers, your, Manuel Neuer, I don't want to say it, I feel bad saying it, but maybe it's time for a full change, just like Spain have done.
Yep. And speaking about Spain, obviously looking at the stats here, Spain had obviously a large amount of percentage, 65 versus 35. Now we know the kind of football Luis Enrique plays. He plays that possession style football. He got a lot of criticism for it in the last Euros, but it's a team in transition, as you said. He's courageously choosing younger players. He left out Sergio Ramos. But what we did see today, while they did create some chances and it could have probably buried the game 2-0, when Germany turned up that gear, Spain looked uncomfortable. They could not manage the game like they did before, and they heavily rely on possession, as everybody knows. So, as a coach that will possibly face Spain, you'll probably see, okay, all right, so if you know that Spain, while they're known for possession, if you really step it up a gear, you could really throw this Spain team off. And to be honest, towards the end of the game, James, you and I were looking, it looked like Germany were more likely to get a couple goals. I mean, Spain as well, they did have a couple chances in there, but the game completely changed in dynamic. So, James, what do you think about Luis Enrique's men, that potential weakness? I mean, all teams have their weaknesses, but that possession style that he heavily relies on is now, Germany kind of revealed, okay, if we take it to these guys, you can hurt them.
Well, I think there's one thing I've saw in this tournament. Every team seems to have a little weakness. We see it from Spain, and to me, Spain and Germany had the same weakness. For example, Musiala was getting a lot of favour on the right-hand side. I think Alaba went off, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So in a sense, it would have been the left side for them. But Musiala was changing. He was going from one side to the next. Even from a German point of view, they had a problem at the right back too. So I think one of the keys is coaches have to know when there's something's not working and make a change. I mean, he made the change, but I don't think the change worked.
Yeah.
I think they were a little lopsided at the back. I mean, I think Laporte was fantastic at the back, and if it was not for him and probably Simone, the goalkeeper, things could have been a whole of a lot different. But again, he will be watching the footage back tomorrow, making changes, because at the end of the day, you cannot make those mistakes against a Brazil with the pace they have, a Portugal, and England. I mean, yes, you'll say Germany have a lot, but I think Germany waited too late to try and attack that, that weakness that they found.
Correct.
It's kind of like you want to go for the jugular and win the game off, and I think this game, Spain will be disappointed that they didn't win it off early in the game, and then Germany will be disappointed they didn't finish it off at the end. So a draw is probably about even when you look at it that way.
Correct.
And as I say, it leaves the group very much open, and that's what the fans want.
Yeah, and it shows that, Spain as well, in terms of finishing, when you still have Alvaro Morata still there trying to do it, he's a player that a lot of people love and hate. He's not the most spectacular player, but he gets the job done. But it's a far cry from the days of Raúl and Morientes and, Fernando Torres, David Villa. So, it shows that, there's a deficiency in that team in terms of finishing.
One of the things I would say is, one thing I'm noticing is the coaches are using the same substitutes all the time.
Yeah.
They have a whole bench of, I can't even remember the number, it might be 10, 12 substitutes.
Right.
But it's only the same 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 substitutes coming on. You use Füllkrug, for example, Hans Flick in the last game, he brought him on. But there's other players there, so I would like to see the coaches actually expand the players getting an option. I mean, yes, you could say it's a tight game, they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But as we go into the last round of this group stage, I hope to see other players, because there's some phenomenal players we've not seen yet on many of the teams. On the Spanish team, on the German team, the English team. So
correct.
I hope the coaches actually are a little bit more open-minded in that sense, because there may be a player that can win a match, and I've just not seen them yet.
Correct. So, folks, this is interesting how this group is going to play out. And speaking about this group, let's talk about the standings so far. So, this is obviously Group E. Spain is on top with 4 points. Japan has 3 points. Costa Rica has 3. Germany has 1, which looks strange seeing Germany at the bottom of any table. So, it's anything goes heading into the final round. James, as we said in the previous shows, the groups are shaping up now. Who do you think is going to go through?
This is a very tight one, because obviously Germany played Costa Rica in the last game. Now, no disrespect to our CONCACAF team there, I don't think they're going to beat Germany. I could be wrong, because I would love to be wrong, especially after the result we saw today, but I think Germany will win that one, but it'll come down to goal difference or head-to-head. Now, Spain and Germany drew, so it would come down to goal difference then, which Spain would have more. Japan obviously shocked everybody when they beat Germany too, so it's going to be very open. My gut tells me it's probably going to be Spain and Japan. I don't think Germany's going to get enough, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep, we'll see, folks. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And no, I did not dodge the question. I think Spain obviously is going to make it through. This is tough for me to say. Like, I'm trying to think as we say this on the fly. I don't really like to do the predictions, but we're having fun. Let us know what you think. I think Spain and Spain and Japan will probably make it through. I think Germany sort of put themselves in that position. I don't think this is the Germany of the old. All those stereotypes are dead, where the lethal machine that is Germany and they will grind out results. That's done. They really revolutionized their football, which for better or worse, we'll see how it goes. All these teams are equipped, and Japan, we'll see what they do. So let's head to the other group, Group F, just to end things off. As it stands, Croatia has 4 points. Morocco has 4 points. Belgium has 3. And unfortunately, Canada, even though they had a really exciting game in the first game, and obviously today they got crushed by Croatia. It looks like Canada is going out. Who do you think is going to make it through here, James?
Well, we think Canada's going out. Canada are out.
Yeah.
They're virtually at the airport, packed their bags,
Yes,
and
yes.
an
Sorry,
Uber,
guys.
an Uber on the way. But they still have obviously the last game to play, so that's just a little bit fun. But I think Belgium are such a big team to rule out. Can they pull off something in the last game? But I would love to see Croatia and Morocco go through. So I'll
Yeah.
say that. But I really can't make a prediction between them. All I will say is I would love to see Croatia and Morocco go. We will see what happens on the day.
Yes, yes. So, folks, let us know your predictions. I think Croatia has enough quality to top the group. The second place, though, I mean, obviously Canada is out, but the second place, that's interesting. Will Belgium rise to the occasion? This is where we'll see what they're made of. I mean, this is, in my eyes, I know some people won't see it that way, but to me, this is the last hurrah for this. A lot of these players, Lukaku and these guys will want to probably go out with a bang.
Well, from a Belgian perspective, obviously Lukaku came off the bench. Obviously, that's a little bit extra in the tank. So they'll be hoping maybe in the last game he can come in and do something, So we will see what comes from them. The fact that they're oozing with talent, and it's absolutely atrocious in my opinion that they cannot win some of these games.
Yep.
And it's not that Martinez is not a good coach, because we know he is.
Yep.
So again, we will see what the last rounds brings.
Yes, yes. So, folks, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Comment on our YouTube channel. Comment on our Instagram. Comment on the Smokey and Bunty social media page. We're putting the links everywhere. Plus, James, we're on some television stations. We're just going to let you all know that. So we're everywhere. So, James, we're in. Let's James tell us.
Yes, we are. We're in several stations actually. We're with our friends in Suriname on QNM Sports. So obviously, if you're in Suriname, check us out. And here in Trinidad and Tobago, we're here on M&E TV. Cable and Flow, if you have it, tune in. And there's also an app which we'll obviously post in the comment section below. So anybody who wants to catch us daily, we'll be on there. So, and then obviously, like I say, we're on our lovely YouTube channel.
Yes, yes.
Check us out. The support is great. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't like what we're saying, tell us, because it all adds to the show.
Yes, yes, correct. So we have lots of incentives for you all to pay attention everywhere, every possible forum. You can find us. You can tell us if you agree, disagree, as James said. So, just to end things off, folks, we have a couple games coming up tomorrow. James, as you always do with a drum roll, who plays tomorrow, James?
We have 4 great games tomorrow. My mouth is watering. I can't wait for the last one. But the first game in the morning is Cameroon versus Serbia at 6 a.m.
Yes.
Big game there for the African country. Serbia will be hoping to try and qualify as well. 9 a.m. we have South Korea against Ghana. Again, Ghana will be hoping to bounce back. 12 o'clock, Brazil versus Switzerland. Huge game. And then we have the big one of the day, Portugal against Uruguay. Will Ronaldo and his troops be able to, I wouldn't say bite off Suarez, because we know he did that before, but Nunes, Suarez, Carvalho, and that wonderful team they have there. But that game was going to be mouth-watering. I can't wait for it. So it's obviously, as some people keep telling me, I keep saying obviously, it's obviously going to be a huge game.
Yes, yes. So, we'll do a word count for that as well. But, we're going to head out, get rested. James and I are trying to, make sure we keep on match fitness.
And one thing to remember, our fans out there, remember, as of Tuesday, we go to 2 games at 11 o'clock if you're here in Trinidad, and 2 games at 3 o'clock. So don't be thinking you can get up early at 6 o'clock in the morning and take in 1 and then 9. Both games will be on simultaneously at 11 and 3. So it'll be difficult for us, Andre.
Yes.
But we will bring you all the coverage.
Yes, yes, we'll do our best. Kevin will return. We'll probably have some other guests as well, just to spice things up. And also, just to shake things up a little bit, for those of you, there's a lot of gamers out here. FIFA 23 has that expansion for the World Cup. Let us know what you think about that. I've been playing it. I love it. There's a new feature where you can actually play with the live World Cup fixtures, James. James and I tried to do it, but unfortunately the consoles, PS4, PS5, Sony, we're looking at you. Good feedback. So, anybody who wants to take a crack at us, you can find me at Dracool10 on the PSN network. We could try it out, because you can play the actual fixtures online. If anybody wants to try, if you dare, I guess. I'm dropping the mic, folks, but if you want to come on, try it as well. I know our director behind the scene is a gamer as well. He'll probably try to take a crack at me as well. So let us know. I'll be at Dracool10. James as well. James is not afraid as well. James, what's your PSN name?
I can't even remember now off the top of my head. But
Don't be fooled,
we will
folks.
post it in the comment section below, and if you find us, give us a shout for a game.
Yes,
because it's fun, it's football, and it's World Cup.
Yes, yes, so we'll have some fun. So we'll do that on, if it's fun, we'll probably put it online, and we'll do some watch-alongs as well. We're trying to do different things to have some fun. This happens once every 4 years. So, let us know. And also, we have a lovely song at the beginning. We'll put a link in the description below from our lovely friend Sophie from Mexico. We'll we'll put that below because it's a great song. Take a listen, support, download. There's a reason why we chose it. And James, folks, we're going to get ready. Like I said before, James and I are going to try to be match fit and ready to continue this long journey to the final and keep supporting us. And James,
I'm just going to warn you all, tomorrow I'm going to be proudly wearing my nice Portugal shirt. I can't wait to wear it, and make sure you all tune in to the greatest show on earth.
Yeah, yeah.